Welcome.
To the joy of code.
Hello, and welcome to episode 437 of The Joy of Coding. Oh, my name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. I'm going to be live hacking on some Firefox stuff. Let's get started. I'll start by sharing my screen. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. That's right, it's April 15th, 2026, episode 437, and anything could happen. Anything could go horribly wrong. You're watching me live hack on Firefox, doing planned, some of it's kind of planned, an outline in my head, but I haven't written any of the stuff that I'm going to write in advance, and you're just going to watch me live hack. That's great. Well, that also means things could go wrong, and that's okay too. We'll deal with it as it comes. That's the first thing. Second thing, the agenda that we're looking at is available to you. Depending on where you're watching the stream, there'll be a link to it in a different place. So over there, if you're on Air Mozilla, it'll be in the details section. If you're watching YouTube, or it'll be down in the video description. If you're watching Twitch, it should be down in the channel details. Right, we have been working on this download sidebar thing for a couple weeks now. Oh, I did a who is on my own domain. I just wanted to make sure everything was redacted properly. The download sidebar, I rebased the patch. I have it here built, and I'm gonna launch it. I think I suspect I'm gonna have to enable the preference again because I had I think created a new profile. So let me go ahead and sidebar, download sidebar will enable it, and then let us enable the revamped sidebar. Oh, it is enabled. Maybe I need to, let's turn on vertical tabs for now, get this thing just for now, and then we're gonna turn on downloads. Okay, that's what I wanted. We wanted downloads. Great. Now, there was a, how old is my domain? I think it ended up being, when I looked it up, I think it's 15 years? 15 to 17 years, somewhere in there. I've had mikeconley.ca. Well, I can actually look up. Creation date, 2009. So 26 minus 9. I think it's, I can do that math, right? It's 17 years? Did I get that right? 26 minus 9? 17, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I've had it for a while. So I got some feedback from the reusable components team on the downloads UI. So just to catch people up, from last week we were looking at trying to reuse the same UI code that powers the downloads panel, but reusing it for the downloads sidebar. And I'm talking about this part in here, which if you've ever opened up the downloads panel, you'll probably recognize. And that is mostly constructed using Zool. And so we went down this little rabbit hole because it looked like there was also this relationship between the downloads panel view UI item here and something called rich list box and rich list item. And so I went down this little rabbit hole last week being like, oh, now we have to make it so that we're going to need to convert rich list box and rich list item into reusable components that are HTML based. What a pain. And then the reusable components team helped me think through a little bit. Hey, you know what? The dependency between the downloads item here and the rich list box, rich list item is actually pretty loose. They're not tightly coupled, meaning it should be possible to convert the downloads view item to be using HTML elements and to not have to rely on rich list item or rich list box for the sidebar. Now that does mean that we end up missing some of the functionality that rich list box gives us, namely multiple select. That is the thing that rich list box and rich list item gives us. But for now, that seems like an okay compromise just to get this off the ground. And it would allow us to move forward. And then if we decide we want to have these items be multi-selectable, then maybe we need to start working on updating Mozbox group, which is probably what these things will be contained in. Because if we take a look at Storybook, we have these expandable, collapsible cards. I think there is a box group. Is that what I'm talking about? Box item. There's one that expands, collapses, and that's what we want to use. Maybe it's not box item. Maybe it's a different one. Like visual picker, multi-line editor, named deck. What does Firefox View use? A tab list. Whoops, no, that's broken. That's all broken, gang. Firefox View. What are these things? So like, what is this? Let me see what this thing is. I actually think we've looked into this. I think it is a specially constructed item called it's a Moz card inside of a sidebar. No, a Moz card inside. Maybe it's just a Moz card. Maybe it's just a Moz card. Card. Moz card. So maybe, where's card? Card is here with heading, with accordion. That's what it is. It's a Moz card with an accordion. Okay, so chances are we're going to be developing the downloads list so that it can appear inside of Moz cards like this. Do I have Nova enabled? Is that why there's like rounding? I just noticed that there's like this rounding here, but it's like not matching the that might be fairly recent. Let me check to see if it's in my current nightly. Well, you know what, let's file a bug on that before we move on, so you'll get to see me file a bug. And this is a theme bug, or it might be a sidebar bug. Let's take a look at what makes the most sense. Sidebar, Firefox sidebar, the description of sidebar bugs and feature requests for the Firefox sidebar. Now, is it a sidebar bug or is it a Moz card bug? Like, what's causing the roundness of that whenever I hover the header here? It's the summary, and inside that's the wrapping header. If I hover this, I have a border radius like that. Padding, justify, chevron icon, there's the span. So it must be this, right? Like if I display none. No, it's not. It's one up above. It's the summary. Is it the summary, or is it in the shadow root maybe of the summary of the slot? No. If I make this element go away. Okay, so I think it's in here. Border end start radius is 0 and 0. That makes sense. But the border radius on, it's using card border radius on the summary. And card border radius makes sense, I think, except that the outer card is using a border radius medium. So if this used card border radius, then it matches. But that looks weird. Maybe that always looks weird. Border radius medium. What happened here? I guess that's always going to look a little strange. Okay, well, I think I'm going to file this bug. And does it exist as well for the I don't have this one connected to a new device, so let's just do history. History, Moz card, history sidebar Moz card has incorrect border radius effect on hover. This is a defect. I don't have a regression range for this, but I just noticed it today in my local build. If I hover the header for a collapsible Moz card for history in the sidebar, the details or the summary element has, and let's get our terms precise here. The summary element has border radius, card border radius border radius card, card border radius, but the Moz card itself has a border radius of border radius medium, resulting in the appearance in the screenshot. So we're going to attach a screenshot. That's always helpful. Just capture that. Paste screenshot of the issue. If we take a look at, let's look at the source code here for the card border radius, because the summary being using card border radius, I suspect is newer. So Moz card, it's in the Moz card source. Moz card border radius. He's using card border radius, and that showed up 2023, but card border radius. Oh no, maybe it's always been like that. Help me help you. Help me find the regression range if you want in this bug. If you want to be helpful, I'm not going to do it during this stream, but if you are able to use Moz regression, you can hunt that down. That'd be great. But I'm just going to file it as is. So there. I'm just seeing if there were any other that I recognized in there, but no. Okay, so yeah, that looks off, and hopefully that can get sorted out. If you see something, say something. Okay, so going back to downloads for a second here. What I want to do is go into the source code and start looking at how we can start converting the downloads view item to use HTML elements. That's what I'm hoping to do today. And that downloads view item is inside of downloads.js. So downloads.js. Downloads view item. And if I remember correctly, it's just a class. This comes from an era from before custom elements really were available. So you can almost see what they were trying to do, what Paolo is trying to do. Like he's thinking ahead to how custom elements should be. But down here in the in the element shell. That's the part that's operative. Downloads element shell in downloads view UI. This is the part that's using Zool. Okay. So actually we want to be in here, and thank goodness it's a module. Element shell. For a single element that uses the download binding. Now this does not even exist anymore, so we need to be updating that as well. Download element shell is responsible for handling the commands and the display data for a single element, display element of download, and the displaying data for a single download, actually. The information to display is obtained through the associated download object from the JavaScript API for downloads, and commands are executed using a combination of download methods and downloads common helper functions. Specialized versions of the shell must be defined, and they are required to implement the download property or getter. Currently, these objects are the history download element shell and the downloads view item for the panel. The history view may use a history download object in place of a download object. Okay. And this is the part I'm hoping we can update. Now, before we do this, it'd be great if we could get a sense of the tests for the panel or something. I want to be able to run the tests and make sure that they're all working. Like, let's get find a minimum test that we can run to make sure that we don't horribly break things. So let's go into the browser tests. Browser basic functionality. I'm just looking for something Show all the download items at once. Populate the downloads database with data required for the test. Open the panel, and then go through the items and make sure that the state of the download. So that's not enough. I want to actually like manipulate the UI. Download is clickable. Open panel. Get the downloads list box. I want to go further. Download panel. Context menu. Key nav. Disable items. Don't show. Focus. Height. I don't know if any actually go into the element itself. Like what? How about download type icon? Are there any tests that look at the icon? No. Are there any download tests? Chevron icon? No, not good enough. What about the downloads container? Item selector. So inside of here, this is just clicking on stuff. Okay, what about download details? Download details normal, hover, button hover, download block badge, and then the download button itself. Here, indicator drop and go to download page. Context menu, activate item, go to download button. Go to download page. Promise button shown. Simulate drop and check. Not quite. It's kind of disappointing. There's not a whole lot of automated testing that's checking that this component behaves correctly, at least as far as I can tell. There are no Chrome tests as far as I can see. It's just the browser test. So maybe we need to start by adding some. Just wondering if that makes a lot of sense right now. If I were to subclass this, call connect, what are we gonna do? Why do we do this? This list item fragments for the document. Oh, because this is a template and it's cloning the template. Okay. And so instead of having to parse this each time, okay, it's a little optimization. Got it. Let me make sure that the download button is hooked up. And then download target. The download target dot down. Oh, so maybe I should have been. So these are like helpers to get at the elements inside. Maybe I should have been looking for these instead of the class names. Download target. Download details normal. Download details hover. Button hover. And download button. No good. Okay, maybe we should start then by creating a test, importing this thing, and then when you call connect, it's going to assign itself to the element. What is a minimal subclass? Extends. You construct and you assign these things. Okay. Let's start by mock mkdir browser components downloads tests. We're gonna create some Chrome tests here. Mkdir browser components downloads test Chrome. We're actually gonna touch something called chrome.toml, and then we're going to mock add test browser components downloads tests Chrome. We're gonna test the document element shell, HTML. Is that how we test Chrome? Or tests Chrome. Back up. Tests Chrome. You can just use HTML. Okay. We couldn't determine a suite. Please specify a suite. Add test -- suite Moki test Chrome. Okay. So now if we look into here, we should see the one test, and we might eventually need some of these things, but let's just build and make sure that this test works. And then we're gonna kind of flesh it out a little bit. That way, when we refactor, we can hopefully ensure that it is still working in a way that makes sense, in a way that we expect, without having to manually download things. All right, let us now run the test. This should pass because the sort of the default add test. This is just testing that everything's been registered properly and that we can run the test. Let me pump up the font. Could not find any tests. Oh, you know why? Because there's one more step that I missed, which is I have to make it so that inside of here, we're gonna add build Chrome Moki test Chrome. That's what we need. Moki test Chrome tests. I don't know why that's up there. Let's put that down here. Test Chrome toml. Okay, and now build, and then we'll run the test. And then what I think I want to do is I want to create a very simple download object, something that resembles a download. Hopefully that's easy to do. How do the browser tests do it? Download data, state, download comment, test reset state, download task add downloads. What was that? With the download data. Get list start time, and then we construct an object like this. Task add downloads with items, and then we create you can pass it the structure. It creates a download. We add it to the public list. We refresh for some reason, and that's going to get added to like a database, and then you open the panel. So maybe what I want to do, I think we can do something simpler, where we're just going to construct the download and assign it. We'll like create the structure, create the download, and then assign it to the class that we construct here. Because there's a how did they do it over here? Downloads element shell. You set .download and downloads element shell. Yeah, it's expecting this .download to be set. Okay, so it's like a partial. All right, so let's make sure that our test passes now. I'm starting to get the shape of a test that I want to write here in my head. Good, passed. Okay, so now we can start doing something more interesting. Testing download element shell base class. We need to import that base class. So downloads element shell, go back to the definition. Downloads view UI, that's got to be exported, right? Export. Whoa. How do we get access to, oh, downloads view UI. Downloads view UI. Is that? Export. Okay. So it is exported. So we are going to const downloads downloads view UI equal Chrome utils import ES module, and then what's the path? Source. Good. It's been modernized. So we're bringing that in. And then we are going to create a very simple base class. Simple simple download view UI extends the shell constructor download this dot download equals download. And we're gonna say container, and maybe more helpful element this dot element equals element, or container element to make it simpler. And what's your problem with this? Oh, we have to call super, of course. Super. That's super. Okay. Test construction. So we're going to make sure that we can construct one of these things. I guess, yeah, download view UI equal new simple download view UI. Then we're going to pass it null. Well, no, we want to pass it a download, and let's create a container. Let container equal document dot create element div, and then container element. And download will be, so we're gonna have to bring in something else over here. We saw it over here. Downloads, which comes from here. Downloads. So we're going to construct our simple download. Const k simple download equal. Wait, can I? It's. I have a feeling that that is not synchronous. That. Yeah, you have to await it. Okay, create download. Okay, so. download equals await downloads, create download, download description, and simple download description. Const case simple download description. I don't know if, yeah, okay, and that's gonna be, we're gonna fill that out. Source is gonna be this. Target item target is an instance of a file. Make that otherwise. Downloads. How's that being used? Doesn't have a target. So it would not do this. Instead, it would be test G, test file, target, test target file. So we're gonna just create, oh, okay. Sure. G. You know what? Because this is an object, G test download description. Makes sense. And then this target file, target is that. Almost. We're gonna do path is that dot path. How's that look? Just an object with path set, okay. And then succeeded equals, let's just do this. Download finished, canceled equals false. Wait. Succeeded is true. Let's call this test succeeded download description. Canceled is false. Deleted is false. Error is null. Has partial data. False. Has blocked data. False. Open downloads list on start. False. Content type, we'll call it, what was used in the test up here? Content type. Sorry, not content type. Content type. Is it just item? There is no. It's just null. All right. So I'm just gonna have it be empty, and the start time is new date. Sure. And why are you upset? Because do not use insecure URLs. Sure. Okay, and then we'll pass that to that, and then download view UI. We're going to make sure that it got constructed properly. Let's just see if that passes. No, file utils is not defined. Makes sense. So how do I get file utils? File utils. It's there. utils. Still not defined. What are you talking about? File utils. Did I not save? I didn't save. Oh, classic. Good. Okay, so that works. We've constructed one. Can construct a subclass of download element shell. Or maybe I'll just say can construct that, and then we're going to check that there are items for each of these handy getters. The download type icon, we're going to go through this list. Now, are these supposed to be externally accessible? Are they ever used outside? No. Not that one. Did we properly abide by open closed here? Maybe yes, in which case we shouldn't be testing whether or not these exist. This is great. Okay, so it also means we can rename these pretty easily if need be, or use like convert this into a normal ES6 class with private methods. Hey, great stuff. Okay, so instead of checking to see whether or not these elements exist, we should check to see oh, good. So how do we check the state of them without? Because if I want to say like show progress, I am going to need to access the progress bar. So that is unfortunate. Show status, get status, show button, hide button. Download progress. So with apologies, I am going to test child elements. We need these child elements to be defined and accessible in order to test in order to test that they're in the correct states at the right times. Okay, so test construction. Maybe I can actually make this happen in here. We've already constructed one of these things. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through this list and make sure that an element exists for const k elements equals, or it's, again, I shouldn't have it be a const because it's an array. Let expected elements element getters equal download type icon. In fact, maybe I can do this and then get rid of that. Assigned value but never used. Okay. So get this formatted correctly. And then we're going to go for let getter of expected element getters, download view UI getter, how's it defined? Selector equals the query selector. Okay. Assert, we're gonna just okay. Child element exists for, and then the getter. All right, so that pass. Save this time. No. Probably because I didn't call this part that where is it? Connect ensure active. That's what I need to call ensure active. Download view UI ensure active. OnChanged is not a function, should not throw any errors. Because is it expected that OnChanged will be implemented by the subclass? So really what I want to call is connect. Good. Happy about that. Then we're going to test progress and test progress. I'm not going to do, this isn't going to be exhaustive. This is just so that I can do my best to make sure that I'm not going to break anything whenever I try and convert this into an HTML, to use HTML elements. Okay, so progress is set by calling show progress. I kind of wonder if this needs to be a helper method, async create simple, simple succeeded download. Function. Return download view UI. Download view UI. So we'll do this. Let download view UI equals await there, and then we'll do the same thing, but instead of doing what we did before, we will call show progress. Show progress. We'll have the mode be normal. The value will be 50 and paused will be false. Paused param, paused true to display the okay. And then we will assert is download view UI dot download progress. Wait, what's the am I missing the getter for it? Progress, download target, insert. Where's the element? Just like download progress. Download progress. I should check that as well. Okay. Assert that download progress dot value const k well, that's fine for now. Got the right value set, got the right progress value set, and then we should ensure that the paused attribute is not set. Okay, not download view UI.download progress dot has attribute paused is not paused. All right, let's run that. Oh, thank you so much, Nerd Bloke. Ran Moz regression. I'm gonna pass that in to the bug that we filed. Unless you want to beat me to it, I'm gonna do it. So special thanks to Nerd Bloke who ran Moz regression for this one during my live stream. So this is fairly recent then. Closed 9 days ago. Okay. We're gonna add that as the regressor. Oh, actually, before I do that, let's see if anyone else has filed anything for it. Regressions. Security warnings card. Layout shift. Security warnings card got bumped. Get concerned. Okay, so I don't think this is a pre-existing bug. We'll go ahead and mark this as the regressor. And we'll add the regression keyword. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nerd Bloke. Okay, so that worked. We're going to do something else now where we set the progress to 0. And 100. And then we are going to make it indeterminate. Undetermined. And then the value won't exist. Value. When the progress element, NDN progress, doesn't have a value set, what does the value property give you? Inspect. Value 0. Well, if I set it to 100, and then if I go remove attribute value, and then I check out what the value is, it's 0. So it should be 0. Progress value set when undetermined. And then should not have the value property is not showing a value, is not paused. So that, we're going to make sure that passes. Good, and then we're going to try the paused state. Normal, what's a fun number? 67 for all the kids out there. True. Download progress 67. Got the right progress value. Set. And then paused. We want it to be true. Is paused. Fine. Okay. Happy with that. What's another thing we should test? I really want to test the UI that's in here. So let's see the download type icon. Show display name and icon. So add task, async function test, show display name. And this one should really be called show test show progress. We're going to create a simple download and show display name and icon. This is the full, usually the full name of the download without the path. Okay. And that's great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say download view UI, show display name and icon. We're going to pass it like const k test display name equals my cool file dot mp3 k test display name. And the display name might be using L10N. It's usually full name without the path. If so, we use ID and args. Is this how this normally works? We should test the common path. And update state. Get display name for a download. So sometimes it'll return this. Otherwise, it's going to return this. Okay. Well, we'll have to test both. My cool file, and what was the other one? The icon. Const k test icon equals test icon.png. We'll say like Chrome browser test and k test icon. Then we will assert that is download view UI. Is that the right simple download view UI? Download view UI dot download type icon. Type icon dot source k test icon. Got set the icon correctly. And then we're going to make sure that the value and tooltip text value should be that. Set the value correctly. And that's on the target. Download target. And then tooltip text should be set to the value correctly on the target. Set the tooltip text correctly on the target. Let's just make sure that passes. No, got undefined for tooltip text. So it's possible that get attribute, that we don't have a shortcut for tooltip text there. Good. Now let's test the L10N variant. Show display name and icon can also accept a structure for a fluent string and attributes for the display name. So we are going to return set attributes on the download target. So show, let's see this being used. Get display name. L10N is ID, some fluent ID, args, test 1 2 3. Then we should ensure that the attributes on the target is it dataset.l10nid? Yeah, dataset.l10nid equals const k test fluent id. We'll copy that and pass that in here. Const k test args equals, and we'll put this in as a JSON. JSON like that, and then we will parse k test args, and then we should assume that dataset.l10n args, right? Data l10n args? Yeah, args is the same as k-test args. Set the fluent ID correctly, set the fluent args on the target. I'll be happy about that if that works. No, got undefined. Expected my cool file. Oh, no, it should be this. Got undefined. Sorry. Okay, it should be k-test fluent. Download target dataset l10n ID. Show display name and icon. Maybe let's go get attribute data l10n ID, and then get attribute data l10n args. And it's a no, even though it looks like we should be show display name icon. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the debugger here, and we're gonna step through. Okay, and we're gonna step through. here, step in, if display name L10. Oh, display name needs to have an L10N object. That's what it is. Okay. So I didn't do it. I didn't pass in the right stuff. It's got to be UI display name. It needs to be an object called L10N. Strange, but okay. Can't access property set attributes. Document.l10n is null. Should not throw any errors. Document.l10n is null. Do we have, okay, document.l10n. We have L10n here. Do we not have that in this document? And if not, how do I get it? Okay, so I need Chrome document.l10n. L10n. How do I get it? Do I need like an FTL file defined in here? DOM. Just log an item. How come you have pet logins common? Ah, they're stubbing it out. Can we do better? When is L10N set? Get L10N on document. Document L10N to Chrome only documents. And when is that set to something? Document L10N equals document. Localize it. Do I have to create a link, a localization link added? Okay. Is there another time that I don't mind adding the Fluent file here? So what's that Fluent file? It's called downloads.ftl. And I can just add it to my document, I'm guessing. Let's see what happens. Good. Expected got test 1 2 3 expected test 1 2 3. Oh, because I've got two. You know what I should do here instead of this? Okay, test args equals JSON stringify. No. good. Okay, that works. So I feel pretty good about testing that method. What's another property? The type icon, the target, details normal. Show status, update the full status line. And that can also take L10N. Test show status. So that will, so the status can be, type is either an L10 object or a string literal. If it's an L10N, then we'll set the attributes to ID and args. Okay, so let's start with the basic one. Okay, test status, all good. Show status, okay, test status, and then we expect the value and tooltip text should be set to the status, and the hover status should also be set to that same thing for download details hover. So normal and hover, okay. Okay, let's get rid of all this. Download view UI dot download details normal dot. So it shouldn't have data L10N ID. Has attribute data L10N ID. Should not be using a fluent string here. And it should have a value set. Okay, is get attribute value. Okay, test status should have set the test status on the normal details element, and then tooltip text. So the test status on our details element, tooltip text. Let's make sure that works. All good. Next. We're going to make sure that the hover element is similar. Download details hover. Should not be using fluent string here. On the hover details. Good. And then we'll do the L10N variants. Show status for the status. It's ID and args. Okay, so the status will be L10N, okay, ID, K test fluent ID, args, K test args, and then okay, should, oh, I guess don't need those anymore. Get attribute data L10N ID should be the, that should have set the Fluent ID on the normal details element. Get attribute data L10N args should be the equivalent of JSON stringify. That should have set the Fluent args, not on the tooltip text details element. And then same thing here. The hover, it's basically the same thing. And then we need to also test overriding normal for hover for both. The hover details element. So make sure that that passes. Also test that we can override the hover details display. Some hover string, and then, or I can use k test status. And then I'll just take this. And then k test hover, some hover Fluent ID, k test hover args, test 456, and then we will do this and test that we can override the hover details with a Fluent string. ID, k test hover Fluent ID, args, k test hover args, and then we're going to take this and do that, and then for these it'll be hover the right, set the right, and then k test hover args, and that should pass. And with that, you know, it's 217. Maybe we can start some of our refactor to use HTML elements here. I've almost touched all of them. I've touched type, icon, target, details, normal, and hover. Button hover and download button. It's true. Is there something I should be doing for that? Show button. Yeah, maybe I should make sure that these work. Show button. So test show button. Show button takes a type, one of the presets defined in G download elements buttons. Oh, I can show one of these buttons, and that's from downloads view UI. And is this exposed somehow? Not really. So how do people know how to download show button? Oh, I don't, I pass it the I see, the type. So the type is one of these, cancel retry show. And what happens if I supply one that's not of those? It's gonna error out. Okay. Const button types equals object freeze, and then here's the list. Cancel, retry, show, subview open or remove file. Ask open or remove file. Ask remove file or allow. Remove file. Okay, and then we will call show button. For let type button type of button types, download view UI show button type. Then what are we going to test? That the button has the right properties set on it. Is panel, if this dot is panel, okay, extends is panel, is panel. Is panel. Let non-panel download view UI, and then we're going to call show button, and then we are expecting what are we expecting? The button command name to be set. Okay. The button command name is set. The download button has data L10 and ID set. Has attribute data L10 and ID. The button string fluent strings are set. Is panel in description set attributes on hover. So we'll assert that okay. Oh wait, that's going to be on the download button. On hover, not has attribute. The button details on hover strings are not set when not in panel mode. And then should have a class of download button and something else. Okay. You know what would be ideal actually is if we could export this somehow. G download element buttons. You know what would be best is if we could export this on object. Export our download view UI. Download element buttons, return download element buttons, G download element buttons. We're gonna freeze these now that we're exporting them, because I don't think anyone ever writes to them. Yeah. Okay, so now that I have that, I can access is download view UI dot download element buttons, button type command name. The button command name was set. And then is download button get attribute that Elton ID should be not the command name, but the L10N ID. What's the difference between that and the description L10N ID? But that's only if you are, for the hover. So the download button, it should be the L10N ID. The button fluent are set correctly. And then download view UI is not defined. Downloads view UI, that's what it is. Downloads view UI. And then is downloads button hover. Oh, yeah, okay, it doesn't have it. Or not set. And then what else? The button should have the right class. Class list dot includes. I think that's what it is. Document body class list dot includes. Contains. And then it should be download button. The button has the download button class, and then it should also have contains this an icon class. Button has the icon class. So those should be true, and then it should not be hidden. And that's an attribute. Attribute hidden. The button is not hidden. Okay, let's see what that does. Downloads view, downloads element buttons is not a function. Get download element buttons on the downloads view UI object. Oh, right, it's not a function, it's an object. Oh, shoot, okay. Okay, try that instead. Good. All right, we'll do the panel type. Let panel download view UI. We're going to say you are the panel type. Panel button command was set. Button fluent strings should be set correctly instead of L10NID. It would be panel L10NID. 4 panels, and then the button details should be set with the description L10NID. Okay, get attribute. The button details are set, and that should be the description string. What was it? Description L10NID. Yeah. Button details and arrow strings are set when in panel mode. And then it's got the download button. Yeah, okay. Oh, what's all this? On 185. So down here, non-pan. Oh, right. I need to. Still no good. Too many arguments passed to OK. Oh yeah, this should be is. Yeah. Not quite. Button details are on hover strings are set when panel got null. Get attribute data L10NID. Show button. That's if description L10NID exists. And it doesn't always exist. So let description const description ID equal, or description L10NID equal that. If description L10NID, then we expect that, else we expect it to not be set. Or not set when not defined. Still no good. Button details are set when in panel mode. Got null. Download details hover. Button hover. Download details. Oh, button hover. Download details button hover. That's what we're looking for on the button. Hooray! Okay, so we've made quite a bit of changes here. I'm actually going to factor this. I'm going to commit this. Create tests for download element shell. And then quickly, while we have a few minutes, let's do the thing where we're gonna connect. We're gonna change these. So instead of parse Zool to fragment, parse to fragment. Is that what it's called? I've seen this before. Parse from safe string. Parse. DOM parser. Document. So we'll say let parser equal document equals new default view DOM parser. We'll say parser, parse from safe string. Parse from safe string. Instead of an HBox, we'll make this be a div for now. And this will be an image, an HTML image. This will also be an HTML image. This will be a div. And these will be spans. There's no such thing as a crop center. Uh-oh. Crop end. This might be a problem. Crop. Toolkit. Content. Widgets. What are you doing for crop? Button text. On a Moz button base. Moz button base implements base text. Base text mixin uses a Moz Zool element sometimes. Base text mixin. This is loaded into all Zool windows. Moz elements base text. Moz button base. Moz elements base text. What? Custom elements. When I use Moz button base. Oh, this is the Zool button. No, I want to know about other kinds of cropping. Toolbar button. Crop. Implements crop end. Crop, crop, crop. Crop start. Interesting. And for the direction to clip the start rather than the end. So it's possible maybe to do cropping with CSS now. Okay. Well, for now, let's do it like this. And let's see if this explodes. Let's just run our tests. And instead of using, we can put this after download target, which is .download targets here. So we're going to put the progress element here. Progress class equals download progress. And max equals 100. And that's it. Then we can get rid of this. All right. And then instead of a command, we'll add a click event listener, I guess, because I don't believe button sends command. Click. Okay, let's see if our test pass now. They do not. New is required on Connect 431. New, yeah, new DOM parser. Parse from same string, so it's not same, it's safe. At least 2 arguments required. Parse from safe string. What's the second argument? Oh. Is anyone else using parse from safe string? Datetime box. Application. Sure, let's do that. Operations not supported, should not throw errors on line 460. Here, to import the node, import node. You can't import this. This is using parseZool to fragment. I don't want to use that as an example. Import node fragment, document fragment. parseZool, no good. Wait. parseZool. Okay, I don't care. Import node template.content in lit all. How lit does it? Import template content. Spinner template. Use templates. Parse from, this is what I want. Parser, I want to parse, and I want to parse text HTML. Text HTML. Maybe I had the MIME type wrong. Still not a fan when I append the child to the element. List item fragment. Let us put a debugger here. I'm going to stop the stream in just a second, but I do want to see what the dealio is here. And then we can continue on with this next week with more tests and maybe trying to make it look right. I'll bet you if we can get it to function correctly, we probably can't get it to look right. Okay, so we've got a download list item fragment is a document. We've parsed it to a document. Dot body is that. First child. Okay. So maybe that's what I want to be importing, not the document, but the body first child. Oh. Or is there something like parse to fragment? Parse from safe string to a document. Is there anything that parse from buffer, parse from stream? All right, well, document, item, fragment, body, first child. Let's try that. Okay, download button is null. Should not throw any errors. So we're getting closer. Download button is null. This element, query selector. So append child, import node. And then for some reason it doesn't find any of this stuff. Append child, you import it. Append child. Okay, one last time. Debugger here, and then I'm really, for real, calling the stream. Okay. Okay, so what is this dot element? Active, true. Do you have any children? Yes. Download main area. You imported it. So child element children 0 dot children blocked badge download container. So where should it be? Oh. This whole thing needs to get... Oh, okay, so hold on a second. The document list item fragment body first child, right, and then second child, second child, last child. That's the button. Okay, I understand. So we didn't import enough. We almost need to like wrap this in another container. Can I append the body? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Exists. Download progress. Okay, download. So now, download progress. Okay, so we're making forward progress here a little bit. 131 passed. I'm gonna call it there. But we're making forward progress, so we can continue this next week. Hey, thank you so much for watching episode 437 of The Joy of Coding. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if this was interesting. I read everything that comes in. I'm going to put a link in the chat, link to rate this episode. And I probably am streaming next week. I don't know. I might be encumbered in a bunch of meetings. If I pull up my calendar real quick, it is very possible that it's unclear. I might be able to stream. So it'll be a game day decision. Keep your eyes peeled. And if not, I apologize. I'll pick it up the week after. Thanks again, everybody. Have yourselves a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.